Blessings, beautiful soul. This yoga vibe flow for the new movement can be done at any time. So feet a little bit wider than hip width. Place one hand over your heart space, one hand over your belly. Just have your thumb gently in contact with your belly button. Now, if your body naturally moves, as mine is doing, just let it. Now, you need to close your eyes. Just take your awareness inwards. Noticing how you're feeling, no judgment, no criticism. Now you just set the intention to be mindful, to be conscious, to be compassionate in how you treat yourself, in the thoughts that you have about yourself. Moment of a 5-year-old you, a 5-year-old version of you who needed, who deserved love, kindness, compassion. And know that she's still there. She's still there and she still needs and deserves kindness and compassion. We're so good at being mean to ourselves and criticizing ourselves. Me too. So you just set the intention to treat yourself the way you would someone you really care about. If your body naturally starts to move, in fact, let it start to move. Let the breath and the music move your body. Let go of there being any idea of there being a right or wrong way. So feminine energy is very expressive, very sensual, which doesn't necessarily have to be sexual. Sensual means sensing into, feeling your way, remembering that your body is designed to move, and your body is designed to feel pleasure in all forms. Now just allow your body to move. You may keep your eyes closed, or you may open your eyes. I want you to just imagine that your body is showing you how it wants to move. There's no rights or wrong ways. Just let the music and your breath move your body. Because your body is insanely intelligent. We just need to get out of our own way. Which is why, when we've had one too many vodkas, we can get on the dance floor, shake it like Beyonce, yet the rest of the time we're like, oh, I don't know how to dance, I don't know how to move. You do, it's your inner critic, your ego, that tells you you don't know how to move. Move in any way that feels good. And say, let go of there being a right or wrong way. How does your body want to move today? It doesn't matter if it's not the same as mine. What feels good for you today? There's a reason why dance is so good for our soul. That we tell ourselves, oh, I don't know how to do it. How about if there's no right or wrong way? That's why I prefer to call it freestyle movement instead of dancing. Just again, allow your body wants to move. And notice once you let go of that inner critic, how good it feels to just allow your body to move. And just come back to a place of stillness once again. And just simply noticing how you're feeling right now. And notice how the music feels. It's a great way also to balance your lower energy centers. If your variation doesn't look the same as mine. Once you let go of your inhibitions, your body will show you what feels good. There's no one else watching, so you can do what feels right for you. Fast or slow? What does your body need today? You can slow it right down. You may find that your body wants to move to the beat. How does it feel to let your body lead? Of every amazing experience you've ever had in your life. All the adventures you've had that you wouldn't have had if it wasn't for your incredible body. I get self-conscious being skinny when I'm on the mat. It no longer seems to matter so much. I just focus on how I feel. Govinde, 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 Govinde. And when you focus on what your body can do, rather than what it looks like, and focus on how good it feels being in your body, then you start to feel better about yourself. So we lose the idea of there being a right or wrong way to do any particular pose. And we just do what feels good for us, because our body will let us know if we're out of alignment. Start to bring the feet back in. Just start to come back to a place of stillness, if you can, because when you feel that beat, this is why if you want to shift your mood, find some music that gets you tapping your feet. You know, that kind of music that you can't keep still. hands back, over your heart, over your belly. And close your eyes. And just notice how it feels being in your body. That's why I try and focus on getting you to notice how good it feels being in your body. So regardless of size, shape, age, you're focusing on how good it feels being in your incredible body. Awesome. Take a nice deep breath in. Let it go. I'm going to come down onto the mat to do a couple of yin poses. So coming on to your hands and knees, when I come into Anahat Asana, also known as puppy dog pose. So come on to your hands and knees, knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. And just a couple of cat stretches. So spread the fingers out as you breathe in, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, draw your heart forwards if you're trying to draw your heart through your upper arms. As you breathe out, lift through the back of your heart, drawing your chin to your chest, belly button to spine. So inhaling as you flex, imagine hugging your upper arms in towards your ribs. Exhale as you arch up. And inhale, flex. This time stay here now. Keep your hips in line with your knees. And just take a big step forward with your right hand, spreading your fingers out, tucking your elbow crease in, keeping your hips in without lifting your, shifting your weight forward. In fact, sink your weight back a little bit. Bring your left hand about mat width apart. And then start to sink your heart, melt your heart down towards the floor. Keep lifting your tailbone. So instead of tucking the tailbone under, lift your butt and start to literally melt your heart towards the mat. So you want to keep your arms straight so you're not bending the elbows. So you're feeling that opening through your chest and also that stretch in your shoulders. If your head doesn't touch the floor, don't worry. Just let it hang down. I want you to bring in the affirmation. I am now willing to accept that I am more than worthy of love. I am now willing to accept that I am more than worthy of love. And so we spend so much time kind of criticizing ourselves, being hard on ourselves, and we're all worthy of love. And here's the thing, right? No matter what we have, no matter what size, shape, age we are, we'll always find something to pick fault in. We'll always find something we wish were different. That's why I said, think back to one of your happiest memories. Stay where you are and just breathe. Allow yourself to melt into it. That's why I said, think back to some of your happiest memories. Days when you were just really happy and joyful, and you weren't maybe thinking so much about the size of your bum or whatever. You were just enjoying. Or think back to when you were a child, before you even started to be aware of, like me, for example, I started getting teased in primary school. But up to that point, I didn't even know there's anything wrong with my nose. It was just a nose. I was completely oblivious to it. Up until that point, life was just amazing. My body was just my body. And there is a point often in our life, and it's often someone else says something or picked on, that we start questioning ourselves. And then our ego takes root. But if you think back to all the amazing times, all the awesome, pleasurable times you wouldn't have had if it wasn't for this body. And this is why I focus so much on getting you to feel how good it feels being in your body, letting go of, what it looks like. I'd love bigger boobs, I'd love, a bigger bum and all those kind of things. But I don't let it ruin my life. I am now willing to accept that I am more than worthy of love. If it feels a little bit tight around your shoulders, then maybe take the hands a little bit wider. And imagine someone's just gently got hold of your pelvis and they're leaning back slightly, letting that breath flow up and down your spine. So with yin yoga, we stay a little bit longer because we're giving the body an invitation to sink deeper into each posture. So as you breathe in, feel your ribcage expand. As you breathe out, allow your heart to melt down even more. I am now willing to accept that I am more than worthy of love. Give me 2 more breaths. As you breathe in, feel the back of your heart expand. As you breathe out, imagine the front of your heart melting down towards the floor. And imagine that your body has been waiting all this time for you to show it some love. Because it's always doing its best for you. Imagine lengthening from the tips of your fingers right up to your tailbone. I'm now willing to accept that I am more than worthy of love. After your next exhale, lift your chin, look forward, make your way on to your belly. Now you have 2 choices here. You can stay here in a kind of Sphinx pose with the elbows underneath your shoulders, pressing down into the hands. You can take the knees a little bit wider and you can bend your knees, cross at the ankles as if you're trying to bring your feet towards your butt and just stay here. Or if you wish, you can come into a slightly stronger bow variation where we're going to use a bolster or a cushion, or you can even use a towel or whatever. I've got a bolster here that I put kind of under my chest, so you can even use this as a Sphinx variation. You can do half bow, or again, you can come into here where you're bending your knees. You might take the knees a little bit wider, but not too wide. Press your pubic bone down to the floor. And if you can, flex your feet, reach back, try and grab hold of your ankles rather than your feet, because your feet are a bit floppy. So yin poses, they're not all kind of like totally, sometimes we do put some effort in, we're just not lifting up as you would in full bow pose. So you can pull your feet back, chest lifted, just looking forward. So you are putting some effort in and you're getting like the full expression of the pose, but it's just not quite as challenging as without the bolster. And I find, especially with my back's not designed for strong back bends, but I like bow pose with a bolster. So stay in this variation that suits you. If you're in bow pose, really try and imagine your pelvis opening down into the mat. Remember, back bends are about lengthening the front of the body. They're not about bending backwards, they're about lengthening the front of the body. And then imagine lengthening the fronts of your thighs. And as you press your feet strongly against your hands, as if you're trying to straighten your legs, you're using your arms to kind of open out through the chest. And just bring the head into a position that feels okay for you. So that might be looking slightly forward. That might be kind of letting the head hang down. Just try and make sure the knees aren't too wide. Don't want the knees too wide. So hip width apart is okay. Again, squeeze your tush. And then mentally affirm, I love the person I am and the person I am becoming. I love the person I am and the person I am becoming. So the bow pose can be slightly a stronger pose than Sphinx and then upward bend. It's also great for lifting your mood as well. It's one of those that you feel great when you come out of it. So with a bolster, it's not quite as strenuous. But again, imagine opening your pelvis out to the floor. Keep pulling the feet back. You can kind of ease off a little bit. Inhale, lift up into it. Make sure there's no tension in your neck or shoulders. Squeezing your tush. I love the person I am and the person I am becoming. After your next exhale, Release your hands. If you've got a bolster, just move it out the way. And bring your hands either side of your chest. Push up, sit back to your heels. Here comes Mr. Flumps. Sit back to your heels. Toes together into like a wide child's pose. Slide the hands forward, bring your palms together. Elbows kind of wide, and relax your forehead down onto the floor. You have the option of moving your elbows forward and bringing the hands behind your neck in Anjali Mudra, walking the elbows forward so you get a bit of a stretch under your arms, a little bit more. We've got Felix here coming as well. Or, see, they want a bit of self-love. They love joining in, they love the energy of the practice. Or keeping the hands out in front of you, whatever feels good for you. And mentally affirm, I am grateful for my body and all the glorious adventures we have had and the ones to come. I am grateful to my body and all the glorious adventures we have had and the ones to come. And just stay and breathe. Imagine breathing into the back of your heart. And again, think of all the wonderful adventures that you've had. And think of all the times that, as I said before, no matter what, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, how tall, how short, how fat, how thin, there will always be something. We can always find something to moan about. I mean, think of it this way. This has probably happened to you. I've looked back at photographs of me like 10 years ago, and I look back and think, what on earth was I worrying about? I wish I looked like that now. And I try and remind myself of that now. I try and remind myself that in 10 years' time, I will wish I looked the way I do now. So whenever I start to pick fault, I just try and think of all the wonderful things I do on a daily basis. The fact that I can stroke my cats and cuddle up with my cats. The fact that I can share my passion with you. The fact that I can get on my mat and practice and that sets me up for the day. The fact that I can go and watch a beautiful sunrise. All those things that I couldn't do were it not for my body. So although it may not look exactly the way I want it to, you know, I am able, I can walk, I can talk, I can breathe, I can smell, I can see, I can hear, you know, all these things that we often take for granted until we can't do those kind of things. So remind yourself of that. Remind yourself when you're being mean to yourself, because it can become a habit. It becomes a habit. Being mean to ourselves becomes a habit. And it's almost like we look for an excuse to be mean to ourselves. It's like we self-sabotage in order to be mean to ourselves, and it becomes a habit. So we're going to create a new habit to be kind to ourselves, to and about ourselves. I am grateful for my body and all the glorious adventures we have had and the ones to come. Take another nice deep breath in and let it go. Lifting your head wherever you are, starting to walk your hands in, coming in mindfully, not in a rush, come in mindfully. Bring your knees in, drop your hips to one side and bring your legs out and around. I'm going to do something that might kind of be strange when I first started, it was kind of like really, really strange and weird and odd and like, oh, funny. But when you think about it, it's like, why should it be strange? Why should it be weird? To massage, to touch, to stroke, to, you know, be kind to our own body. You know, it just doesn't make sense. Now, if you are someone who really, really struggles with that, then you can just hold your hands a few inches above and just imagine. And so when I first started doing it, it felt weird and strange and like, but it's like it's your own body. You know what I mean? And one of the problems is we are given so many conflicting messages throughout our life. We're in a body that is designed for pleasure, whether that's enjoying the pleasure of listening to music, whether that's enjoying the pleasure of food or making love or hugs or all those kind of things. We have thousands of nerve endings because we're designed for pleasure. Switch to the other leg. And yet we're sent so many conflicting messages. You know, a lot of religions, more like the modern religions, you know, we're kind of sent the message that sex is wrong and the body is something to be ashamed of. And, you know, so we've got so many conflicting messages that we've been faced with throughout our life. And so it's no wonder that, you know, we're kind of confused in a lot of ways. And me too, you know, I've had to do a lot of work on kind of like self-love and being able, now they're going to start fighting. How? Oh, guys, that's not very loving. I've had to do a lot of work working through that so that I can enjoy being in my body, because we're just not taught. It's like we're given this amazing machine. We're not given any instructions. And we're told, yeah, you can use it, but like, you know, oh, don't do that. No, that's naughty. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, you shouldn't be able to. Oh, no. So, you know, my mission is to help you feel good in and about yourself. And that can take practice. So the first time I did this kind of thing was like, ooh, I did that. Ooh, it's weird. Ooh. Then after, just think, well, hang on, it's my body. So if anyone touches it, it should be me. I should be able to touch any part of my body and feel no shame, feel no kind of like discomfort, and just simply notice actually how the body responds to all the nerve endings being stimulated. So notice how you like to be touched. Do you like it slow or do you like it fast? Do you like it feather light or do you like it quite firm? Do you prefer like squeezing, or, you know, notice how you like to be touched. Then when you're more confident, you can start to touch yourself all over and notice how amazing it feels, how the body responds to touch. This is why we kind of, you know, if we bang our elbow or whatever, we kind of rub it because we respond to touch, and our bodies produce chemicals, hormones, feel-good hormones when we are touched in response to touch, which is why hugging people, being hugged, feels so nice. And you get kind of similar result through just touch. Through touch, you can bring your heart rate down. You can just feel good, feel your whole body stimulate. And it's a way of saying, do you know what, body, I love you. I love you, because this is the longest relationship you'll ever be in. And for so many of us, and it was for me for so many years too, it's a toxic relationship. It's a relationship you would not want to be in if it was with another human. You know, we may speak to ourselves in a way that we would never speak to other people. You know, we may say horrible things about ourselves that we would never ever say about someone else. And it's time to change that. So I want your attention this new moon to be that you are going to be a lot more mindful, and it takes practice. You will slip into old habits, but that's okay, because practice makes progress. And just noticing how you feel. You can lay down in Shavasana if you wish. Just come make sure you lie on the cat. Come down, legs a bit wider than hip width, arms out, palms up, soften or close your eyes. Allow yourself to melt down into the floor. Just simply be aware of yourself resting on the floor. And just imagine that again, you're giving yourself the love you would give to someone you really care about, someone you really want to feel good. And then just repeating after me in your own mind. Just repeat after me. all that is imperfect about me, all my mistakes and foolish decisions, are all part of the glorious, beautiful tapestry of life. I am not my past, nor my mistakes. Yet all that has brought me to this point is beautiful and unique, as am I. I am now ready to fully and willingly love, accept, and embrace every aspect of the energetic, emotional being I refer to as myself. I am wisdom. I am life. I am love. I am divinity. I am. Just notice how that feels as that lands in your body. And you can stay for as long as you need. If and when you are ready, just start to stretch out your arms and legs, moving in whatever way feels good for you right now. If you feel like you need to stay a while longer, just stay a while longer. If not, mindfully bringing yourself back up to sitting. And when you get there, rubbing your hands together, connect right and left sides of the body. Bring your hands to your heart, heart to your hands. Do a little bow to seal your practice. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day. So much love to you. Mwah!